Act as if nothing can stop you. Not because you wish it to be so, but because in the unseen world where all things originate, nothing has ever stood in your way. The barriers you perceive, the resistance you feel, the doubts that creep into your mind, none of these hold power in the realm of imagination. For in that sacred space, where thought becomes substance, you are the author, the director, the builder of your reality. The moment you assume the posture of one who is unstoppable, the universe bends its laws to match your conviction. What does it mean to act as if nothing can stop you? It is not arrogance. It is not the loud boast of the insecure. It is the silent knowing that you are backed by something far greater than appearances. It is the calm certainty that the unseen hand moves in your favor when you align yourself with your ideal. It is the choice to walk through storms as if the sun shines upon your path, because in your inner world, it already does. Your outer world is but a mirror, an echo of your inner assumption. The man who walks with confidence is not reacting to external validation. He is expressing an inner decision. He has already claimed the end within. He knows the truth that the world responds not to need, not to effort, but to assumption. And so, he acts not as a beggar, but as a master. Not as one waiting for a sign, but as one who carries the sign within him. He does not ask for permission to succeed. He grants himself permission. To act as if nothing can stop you is to disregard the evidence of the senses. It is to close your eyes to what is and open them inward to what must become. If you look to circumstances to give you courage, you will wait forever. But if you clothe yourself in the feeling of victory now, even while the world remains unchanged, you will discover the secret that changes the world. You will walk differently, speak differently, think differently, and the world, being only your reflection, will have no choice but to change accordingly. You do not overcome obstacles by fighting them. You transcend them by imagining they are already gone. You do not conquer fear by resisting it. You conquer fear by assuming the state of fearlessness. You do not need the mountain to move before you believe. You believe, and then the mountain moves. Not because you are powerful by yourself, but because the power that made the stars responds to your inner claim. It is not the size of the mountain, but the certainty of your assumption that makes all the difference. The moment you say, "I am," the universe listens. The moment you declare within, "Nothing can stop me," the forces of life arrange themselves to fulfill that truth. The key is not in effort, but in alignment, not in striving, but in assuming. When you act as if nothing can stop you, you are not pretending. You are revealing what is eternally true. That within you lives the very spark of creation itself, that your imagination is not fantasy, it is the divine instrument through which life is shaped. Let the world call it foolishness. Let them mock your confidence, doubt your vision, dismiss your dreams. None of that matters, for what you accept as true within must express itself without. The doubters are only reflecting your former doubts. But now, you have stepped into a higher understanding. You know that to act as if you cannot be stopped is not to defy reality. It is to choose the only reality that matters, the one you dare to believe in. So do not wait. Do not delay your greatness until the world gives you permission. Give yourself that permission now. Move, speak, walk, and breathe as the one who already is, as the one for whom all things are possible, as the one who has remembered who they truly are. The only limit is the one you accept. And when you refuse to accept any limit, when you act with the full assurance that nothing can stop you, life must bow. Doors must open, circumstances must yield, because in the world of imagination, you are already there. Everything begins in the unseen. Before the shape of your world takes form, before events line up, before doors open or close, there is the assumption, the silent agreement within your own mind that says, "This is who I am." That is the birthplace of all that follows. Most people chase change on the outside, trying to rearrange circumstances, manipulate outcomes, or convince others to cooperate with their desires. But they have forgotten the origin of all things. The seed is not planted in the world, it is planted in the mind. And the assumption is that seed, it is invisible, but it carries within it the entire future. There is no power more potent than assumption. What you assume to be true about yourself and your life is what you allow to manifest. Not because life is testing you or because you're being judged or rewarded, but because you are always expressing the contents of your inner world. You walk through life broadcasting your assumptions like a signal, and everything you encounter responds to it. The universe is not selective about what it delivers. It merely reflects what you believe most deeply. So if you assume you are destined to struggle, the world will offer you more struggle. If you assume you are unstoppable, the world will become a path with no barriers. What stops most people is not the situation, but the assumption they hold about the situation. They meet delay and assume it means denial. They meet rejection and assume it means unworthiness. They face a closed door and assume it means it was never meant for them. And so, their assumptions close the gate before life ever has a chance to open it. But the one who understands the law of assumption knows differently. He does not argue with appearances, he does not take delay as final, he does not bow to the so-called facts. He returns within, to that sacred center, and changes the assumption. For he knows that when the assumption is changed, the world cannot remain the same. There is no need to force change or struggle with conditions when you have mastered the assumption. It is not about pretending that something is true, it is about claiming that it already is. You assume your role, you take on the state of being you desire, as if you already possess it, and by doing so, you speak in the language the universe understands. You move past the language of effort and enter the frequency of being. You no longer say, I want or I hope. You say, I am. And that is the phrase that shifts worlds. You may think the facts of your life contradict the assumption, but that is only because you are looking with old eyes. You are looking at the harvest from yesterday's planting. But if you dare to look inward and plant a new assumption now, the world will begin to move in strange and wonderful ways to reflect it. People you've never met will begin to appear. Opportunities you never imagined will arise. Conditions will shift and rearrange. Not because you struggle with them, but because you dared to believe something new within yourself. The power does not lie in outer action, but in inner conviction. You can act in all the right ways, say all the right words, follow all the right steps. But if your inner assumption is fear or limitation, you will continue to reproduce the same pattern. But if you do nothing outwardly and yet carry within you the quiet knowing that you are unstoppable, that you are favored, that your path is clear, then life must answer that it has no choice, it is law. When you assume that you cannot be stopped, you take your attention away from the problem and fix it on the solution. You cease feeding the energy of defeat and begin nurturing the state of triumph. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And begin declaring, it is already done. You act from a place of completion, not waiting. This does not mean you ignore reality. It means you no longer accept it as final. You hold the truth of your assumption above the facts of the moment, knowing that the facts will bend to your belief in time. This is the great secret that so many overlook. The battle is not with people, with obstacles, with timing, or with destiny. The only battle is between belief and doubt, and your assumption is the sword that cuts through all illusion. Every moment you are given the choice: assume defeat or assume victory. Assume rejection or assume acceptance. Assume delay or assume divine timing. And whatever you choose to assume, that is what you will begin to magnetize into your life, not by force, but by law. Your assumption is a declaration to the universe. It is your blueprint, your command, your prayer. But unlike a wish or a hope, it is not timid, it does not ask, it states. And in doing so, it activates unseen forces that begin to shift the scenery of your life. Not because you begged for it, but because you embodied it. You became it in consciousness. And once you become it there, nothing in the outer world can resist it. To walk as if nothing can stop you, you must first assume that truth within. Not partially, not conditionally, but completely. You must see yourself as already arrived. Feel yourself as already successful. Move as if the outcome is guaranteed. Think as if the path is laid out before you, even if your physical eyes cannot yet see it. Because in truth, it is already so. You do not need to make the path. Your assumption makes the path. Your only task is to stay faithful to it, even when appearances try to sway you, even when the old reality whispers doubt, even when others cannot see what you see. Your assumption is more powerful than the circumstance, because it is the cause of the circumstance. Hold it, nourish it, rehearse it in silence, feel it in your breath, walk in it, sleep in it, dream in it. For what you assume persistently and faithfully must become your experience. The outer world is always playing catch up to the inner world. It is never the other way around. Most people wait for signs, confirmations, and physical evidence before they dare to believe. They say, "Show me and then I'll feel it." But this is the very reason they stay stuck. The truth is reversed. The feeling must come first. It is not the evidence that gives rise to the feeling. It is the feeling that births the evidence. The one who learns to feel unstoppable before anything looks like progress is the one who eventually commands the kind of life others only dream about. When you feel as if you cannot be stopped, you are not responding to circumstances, you are creating them. The feeling is the blueprint. It is the invisible mold into which life pours its substance. And yet, this is where most fail. They demand proof before they allow themselves to feel the truth of who they are. But in the invisible world of imagination, feeling is the proof. It is the reality before the world catches up. And so, when you walk as if the road is already cleared, the road begins to clear, not by coincidence, but by law. This feeling of being unstoppable is not something you wait for. It is something you assume. You invite it in. You wear it like a second skin, even if your bank account is empty, even if your relationships are strained, even if your body is tired or your past is filled with setbacks. The moment you decide to feel unstoppable despite appearances, you plant a seed that the world must one day harvest, because nothing, absolutely nothing, can remain in your life if it no longer matches your internal state. So when you rise in feeling, your circumstances must eventually rise to meet you. Think of how most people live. They wait. They wait to feel secure until they have money. They wait to feel worthy until they are validated. They wait to feel confident until others approve. But the one who knows the creative power of imagination understands that this is all backwards. You feel rich now, not because of what you have, but because you understand that riches flow from that feeling. You feel loved now, not because someone is holding you, but because you know that love is not something to chase, but something to radiate. And you feel unstoppable now, not because the world has cleared your way, but because in your consciousness you have already walked beyond every obstacle. There is a secret known to those who live from the end rather than toward it. They understand that feelings are not accidents, they are decisions. You can choose to feel the way you want to feel, regardless of what the outside says. You do not need the world's permission to feel victorious. You do not need the scoreboard to declare you the winner before you celebrate. You can celebrate now. You can claim the victory now. You can breathe as the one who is already there. And when you do, the world cannot help but shift in your favor. To most, this sounds like delusion. To those who understand the laws of creation, it is the very foundation of reality. The man who feels unstoppable is not ignoring reality, he is transforming it. He is standing at the doorway between what is and what will be, and choosing to believe in what already exists in spirit. Because once something is felt in spirit, it is inevitable in form. There is no force in the universe strong enough to deny a feeling that is sustained with conviction. The world will bend, time will cooperate, resources will appear, people will be moved into position, but only when the feeling is assumed and held. When you step into the feeling of being unstoppable, something begins to shift deep within you. Your posture changes, your tone of voice shifts, your eyes begin to reflect a different kind of clarity. You no longer look for signs, you become the sign. You no longer chase the dream, you embody the dream. And from that place, everything that once felt far away begins to draw near. Not because of desperation, not because you hustled harder than others, but because you entered the state where success is natural, inevitable, and effortless. This is the power of the unseen. It is subtle, but it governs all. You must learn to trust it more than what your eyes can see. You must believe more in the feeling than in the fact, because facts change, but a sustained feeling, a persistent inner knowing, becomes the new set of facts. So train yourself not to look around you for reassurance. Reassure yourself from within. Speak to yourself not as the one becoming, but as the one who already is. Declare the end as if it has come. Walk as the one who has arrived. And above all, feel it as real now. Do not confuse this with arrogance or fantasy. This is alignment. This is faith. This is the sacred act of creation that has existed since the beginning of time. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every miracle began in someone's mind as a feeling before it ever became a fact. The world only sees the finished product, but the one who lives by this truth sees the unseen first. They feel it so deeply that the outer world becomes irrelevant. And this is why they cannot be stopped, because the world cannot stop what has already been claimed in spirit. So when you wake each day, before you check the news, before you check the balance, before you consult the opinions of others, go within, feel what you choose to be, and do not come out of that state until you are fully saturated with it. Let the feeling of being unstoppable soak into your bones. Let it shape your breath, your thoughts, your movements. Let it guide your words and choices, and the world will follow. It has no choice. The feeling is the cause, the evidence is the effect, always. The world does not respond to what you wish. It does not respond to what you hope. It does not respond to the words you speak when your heart is uncertain. It responds only to who you are being, deeply, quietly, persistently. The world is not listening to your lips. It is listening to your vibration, your assumption, your identity. And your identity is not what others call you, but what you call yourself in the secret chamber of your mind. There, beyond noise and display, lies the real creator of your life. And it is not what you want that it creates, it is what you are. When people say they want change, what they often mean is that they want the world to change around them while they remain the same inside. They want better circumstances, kinder people, easier outcomes, but they continue to hold the same self-concept, the same doubts, the same beliefs about who they are. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They live in a prison of their own making, not one built by walls or enemies, but by the reflection of their own inner assumption. The mirror of life does not lie, it does not decorate, it does not flatter, it reveals. You cannot trick the mirror, you cannot pretend one thing while feeling another and expect a different result. You may speak abundance with your mouth, but if you carry the feeling of lack, your reality will reflect that lack. You may act confident outwardly, but if your heart is trembling with insecurity, your experiences will draw to you situations that confirm those insecurities. It is not the performance that life responds to. It is the essence, and essence is felt, not faked. This is why you must become what you seek. Not someday, not when circumstances approve, but now, in this very moment. If you desire to be respected, carry the assumption that you are already deeply respected. Not because others say so, but because it is your truth. If you long to be loved, live from the feeling that you are already saturated in love. Not because someone is holding your hand, but because you are holding your own self in the awareness of worthiness. If you want success, embody the certainty that you are already walking in it. Not because the bank account agrees, yet, but because your soul does. This world is a mirror, and mirrors do not change until the face looking into them does. If you frown at the mirror, it does not smile back. If you scowl, it does not soften. The mirror only reflects, and so does life. You cannot wait for life to change its expression toward you. You must change your expression toward life. You must look into the unseen world with the face of your desired self and allow that image to imprint itself upon everything you touch. Only then will the mirror shift. Only then will the people, the events, the circumstances bend to match the inner image. The power to change anything lies in the decision to become someone else internally. Not by force, but by assumption. Not by wishing, but by being. The identity you live from is constantly calling forth the conditions of your life. If you are experiencing chaos, look not to the chaos itself, but to the identity that keeps inviting it. If you are facing rejection again and again, ask yourself not why the world is unfair, but what image of yourself you are still accepting as true. The world cannot deliver anything inconsistent with who you believe you are. There is a deeper law at play, the law that says your world cannot exceed your self-concept. If you believe you are powerless, you will continue to find situations that prove your powerlessness. If you believe you are unworthy, the most beautiful opportunities will slip through your fingers, not because they were not yours, but because you could not receive them with the hand of someone who believes. You may pray for blessings, but if you do not see yourself as the kind of person who is blessed, the prayer returns void, not by denial, but by disbelief. Change the world by changing yourself, not the surface self, not the costume you wear, not the words you practice, but the silent convictions you live by. These convictions are always being reflected back to you. They show up in the words people speak to you, the doors that open or close, the chances that seem to appear or disappear. But none of these outer effects are the origin. They are shadows. The substance is always within. And the beautiful truth is this: you are not required to fix the outer world. You are not responsible for controlling every detail. You do not need to manipulate people or chase outcomes. Your only task is to revise the inner image. If the world feels cold, bring warmth to your inner being. If the world feels unfair, bring justice to your inner thoughts. If the world feels impossible, awaken the possibility within yourself, and you will find that life begins to mirror the changes quietly, softly, but unmistakably. The world is reflecting not your desires, but your self-concept. If you want to change what the world is showing you, change what you are showing yourself. You must begin to see yourself differently, speak to yourself differently. Assume the posture, the tone, the presence of the one you wish to be. And not as an act, not as a temporary mask, but as a true identity. Live from it, think from it, rest in it, trust in it, and the mirror will not resist. It will only reflect. You are never waiting on the world. You are only ever waiting on yourself. The moment you step into a new assumption of self, the world starts to rearrange. Maybe not instantly, maybe not obviously, but certainly. The reflection is faithful. It may take time for the ripples to become waves, but they will. Every quiet assumption sends out a signal, and that signal is received by the universe with absolute clarity. It does not respond to your effort, it responds to your essence. And when your essence shifts, everything must follow, because the mirror does not choose, it only reflects. Most people live their lives waiting for someone else to tell them who they are. They wait for validation, for approval, for applause, for confirmation that they are good enough, capable enough, worthy enough. They stand in front of the world asking silently, "Do you see me? Do you approve of me? Am I allowed to rise?" But those who create extraordinary change do not ask for permission. They do not wait for the world to confirm their worth. They move from an inner place of knowing. They walk as if the question has already been answered. And it has, not by others, but by themselves. When you rely on outer validation to define your identity, you become a slave to the ever-changing opinions of the crowd. One moment they lift you up, the next they tear you down. One day you're admired, the next day you're ignored. The voices outside of you are unstable, emotional, unpredictable, and driven by their own inner worlds. So when you tie your sense of power to them, you hand over your control. And what's worse, you disconnect from the one place where real change happens, within. To move from inner conviction is to shift the center of power back where it belongs. You stop reacting to circumstances and start generating them. You stop looking to the world to define what's possible and start defining it yourself. You no longer wait to feel confident until someone applauds your work. You decide that confidence is yours because you say so. You don't need to be told you're valuable. You feel your own worth without needing to be reminded. You act with the full force of someone who has already been approved in the only place that matters, your own consciousness. This inner conviction is the foundation for true transformation. When you believe in your worth from the inside out, you carry a different energy. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to make announcements about what you're going to do. You simply do it, because it is already done in your imagination. There is no waiting, no doubting, no stalling. There is only motion. Motion from belief, not from fear. The person who walks with inner conviction is not loud, but they are powerful. You can feel it in their presence. There is a calm certainty about them. They don't beg for opportunities, they create them. They don't hope to be chosen, they choose themselves. They don't ask, "Am I enough?" They decide, "I am." And in that decision, the world begins to rearrange itself to accommodate the new reality. People are drawn to them without knowing why. Situations open up in strange and beautiful ways, not because of manipulation or chance, but because inner conviction is magnetic. It attracts what matches it. Everything begins with the way you see yourself. Not what you say you are, but what you deeply feel you are. You could tell the world you are unstoppable, but if inside you still question your power, your reality will reflect your doubt, not your words. That's why inner conviction is not built on affirmations alone. It's built on assumption. You don't repeat empty words hoping they become true. You embody them as if they already are. You feel them until they become your dominant vibration, and then the outer world has no choice but to respond accordingly. Many seek strategies, techniques, and formulas for success, yet overlook the most critical element: state of being. Who are you being when no one is watching? What are you assuming to be true when the spotlight is off? That is what determines everything. If your outer life is filled with chaos, confusion, and constant effort, it's not because you're doing it wrong on the outside, it's because the inner conviction hasn't been fully claimed yet. You are still waiting to feel ready, still hoping for reassurance, still looking outside for signs that it's safe to move. But the truth is, the sign you are looking for is your own decision. You become unstoppable the moment you stop asking and start declaring. When you say, I am, with full belief, not to convince others, but because you know it deeply, your energy shifts. And that shift becomes the blueprint. The world begins to echo back your declaration. Doors open, people respond, events align, not because you chased them, but because they recognized your signal. You were no longer broadcasting confusion or desperation. You were radiating clarity. That clarity doesn't come from the world. It comes from choosing, again and again, to believe in yourself before anyone else does. People may doubt you. They may question your motives, misunderstand your actions, or even reject your progress. That's fine. Their disbelief is not your problem to solve. Your task is not to change their minds. It's to stand so firmly in your own that their opinions cannot sway you. Let them talk, let them speculate, let them misunderstand. As long as you are grounded in your inner truth, their noise cannot reach you. You are not here to live by committee. You are here to fulfill the vision planted within you, and only you can see it clearly enough to follow. To move from inner conviction is to become immune to temporary defeats. You no longer crumble when things don't go your way. You see setbacks as shadows, not substance. You recognize that your path is not dependent on smooth roads. It is dependent on your ability to hold your state no matter what. You say, this is who I am, and you do not budge, even when the world tells you otherwise. You don't need the outcome to prove you're right. You trust that your being is enough, and it is. This is not about being rigid or blind to reality. It is about being loyal to your vision, even when reality tries to argue. You don't ignore facts, you override them, not by force, but by faith. Not by denial, but by deeper alignment. You don't run from opposition, you move through it like it was never there. Because when your actions are born from conviction, you don't need to be loud or aggressive. The stillness of your belief speaks louder than any words ever could. And so, the question is not whether the world believes in you. The question is, do you believe in yourself deeply enough to stop asking for permission? Can you walk forward without needing applause? Can you act as if you are already the version of you that nothing can stop? Can you decide that the only approval you need is your own? Because once you do, once you begin moving from that place, everything around you must rise to meet you, not because you demanded it, but because you became it. To become unstoppable, you must embody the end now, not tomorrow, not when conditions improve, not when others believe in you, now. Because the end is not something you chase, it is something you inhabit. Most people wait for results before they decide how to feel, how to think, how to act. They move through life reacting to what is, rather than creating from what is within. But the secret is this. The state of being you desire is not waiting for permission to arrive. It is already present, already real, already available. The question is not whether it exists. The question is whether you are willing to dwell in it before the world confirms it. You cannot expect the world to show you a reflection of something you have not yet embodied. The outer is always the effect, the mirror, the echo. It is not the master, it is the servant. Your inner world is the cause. What you feel, believe, and persist in internally must become your outer experience. And when you embody the end, when you live, think, speak, and breathe as though your desire is already fulfilled, you collapse the illusion of time. You move past delay, doubt, and hesitation and enter the dimension where your word is law and your vision is reality. This embodiment is not about pretending. It is not about lying to yourself or putting on a mask. It is about aligning with your true self, the self that already knows what it means to succeed, to thrive, to love, to create. That self exists beyond fear. That self does not wait for the stars to align because it understands it is the one who aligns the stars. That self carries no doubt because it is rooted in truth. And truth does not need validation, it simply is. When you embody the end, you do not merely visualize your desire, you feel it, own it, and act from it. You step into the role of the person who already has it. You ask yourself, how would I walk if this were already done? How would I speak, breathe, sit, wake up in the morning if I knew with absolute certainty that I am now living the life I imagined? And then you begin to do those things, not as a performance, but as a declaration. Every moment becomes a confirmation, not a question. Every breath becomes a signal to the universe. This is who I am now. Now, most people are caught in the loop of waiting. They think, once I have the money, I'll feel secure. Once I'm in the relationship, I'll feel loved. Once I succeed, I'll feel worthy. But that is a loop with no exit, because it places the effect before the cause. The feeling you believe you'll experience at the end must be claimed at the beginning. You must feel secure before the money arrives. You must feel loved before the relationship appears. You must feel worthy before the achievement manifests. Not because you're trying to earn it, but because feeling it now is the only way to experience it then. This is why desire is not a call to chase, but a call to become. Your desire is not asking you to go and find something. It is asking you to align with the version of yourself who already holds it. It is an invitation, not to struggle, not to reach, but to transform. To step into the higher state where your vision already exists in full bloom. The moment you accept that invitation, the world begins to bend around your new self. Not because the world has changed, but because your perception has. You are no longer seeing lack. You are seeing fulfillment. You are no longer vibrating from absence. You are vibrating from presence. The one who embodies the end walks differently. There is no desperation in their step, no anxiety in their tone, no questioning in their gaze. They are not asking life for permission. They are informing life of what already is. Their actions are not efforts to make something happen. Their actions are the natural expression of who they have already become. There is no contradiction between what they say and what they feel, between what they believe and what they express. They are unified, whole, coherent, and the universe responds to coherence. The question is not whether you are worthy of your desire. The question is whether you are willing to take ownership of it before the world gives it to you. Are you willing to feel rich when your account is low? Are you willing to feel healed when symptoms are present? Are you willing to feel chosen when no one is calling? Because that willingness, that faith, is the bridge. It is the portal through which your new reality enters. And if you cannot feel it now, when it is invisible, you will not be able to hold it later, when it arrives. This is the nature of spiritual law. What you assume to be true within yourself becomes your experience. An assumption is not a vague hope. It is a deep, unshakable embodiment. It says, this is already mine. I do not need to prove it. I do not need to earn it. I only need to live it here and now. And the more you persist in this inner state, the more natural it becomes. You stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop wondering. You rest in the knowing. You move through your day with quiet authority, because you are no longer trying to create your desire. You are sustaining it in consciousness. There is no moment more powerful than now. Now is where your power lives, not in the memory of the past, not in the projection of the future, but in the decision you make in this very breath to embody the end, to live as the version of you who no longer doubts, no longer waits, no longer pleads. And if you will be faithful to that state, the outer world must conform. It cannot resist. Because the law is absolute. What you are within, you become without. So choose now to walk in it, speak from it, think through it. Let it saturate your being until it becomes more real to you than anything you see. And in time, what you see will rise to match what you feel. Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and wanderers of the vast mysteries of existence, pause with me for a moment. Breathe deeply. Inhale not just the air around you, but the essence of life itself, the divine whisper that has guided you to this very moment. Do you feel it? That subtle pull within your soul, that unspoken knowing that there is something more, something vast, eternal and benevolent. That is not chance. It is not coincidence. It is the universe calling you, listening to the silent prayers of your heart. Throughout time, sages, mystics, and dreamers have whispered of a truth so profound that it defies the boundaries of language. It is a truth that transcends the seen and delves into the unseen, a truth that declares without hesitation that the universe is alive. Yes, alive. A pulsating force of infinite love and intelligence, attuned to the frequency of your thoughts, your desires, and your deepest beliefs. But let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why some prayers go unanswered? Why some dreams, no matter how fervently wished for, seem to wither before they bloom? Could it be that we have misunderstood the language of the divine? Could it be that the universe listens not merely to our words, but to the symphony of our inner world, the vibration of our thoughts, the melody of our emotions, and the silent song of our faith? Imagine, if you will, that your mind is a transmitter sending out signals into the boundless ether of creation. These signals, your thoughts, are not idle, they are potent creative forces. Every doubt, every fear, every hope, and every joy is like a note in the grand orchestra of your reality. And here lies the mystery: the universe responds in kind. It mirrors back to you not what you say you want, but what you truly believe, what you deeply feel, and what you consistently imagine. This is no abstract theory. Look around you. The evidence is everywhere. The lives we lead, the relationships we nurture, the opportunities we seize or miss, all of it is shaped by the invisible currents of thought and belief. The question is not whether the universe listens, but rather, what are you telling it? Now, let us journey deeper. For if the universe listens, if it indeed aligns itself with the vibrations of our minds, then it follows that there is a sacred alignment that allows us to harmonize with its divine plan. And what is this plan? It is nothing less than the fulfillment of your highest potential, the realization of your most audacious dreams, and the unfolding of a life rich with meaning and purpose. But here is the paradox: alignment is not achieved through striving or struggling. No, it is a state of being, a quiet yet powerful surrender to the truth that you are not separate from the divine, but an extension of it. You are a co-creator, a vessel through which the infinite expresses itself. And the key to this co-creation lies in your thoughts. So I ask you, what thoughts are you harboring right now? Are they thoughts of abundance, peace, and love? Or are they shrouded in fear, doubt, and limitation? Are you speaking the language of faith? Or are you caught in the dialect of despair? For make no mistake, the universe speaks the language of faith. It moves mountains for those who believe, not in the power of the mountain, but in the power of the unseen force that can shift it. Tonight, as you listen, I invite you to consider this. What if your thoughts right now are shaping the very fabric of your tomorrow? What if in this moment you have the power to reel in with the divine plan, to step into a flow so effortless and miraculous that it defies logic? Would you not seize that power? Would you not choose to become the master of your destiny rather than a passive observer? The journey to alignment is not complex, but it requires intention. It asks of you not blind belief, but a willingness to look inward, to question, to feel, and to imagine anew. It is a journey that begins with awareness, is fueled by faith, and culminates in the realization that you and the universe are not separate entities, but one harmonious whole. And so, I urge you to stay with me, to open your heart and mind as we uncover the signs that the universe is guiding you, speaking to you, and aligning you with its divine plan. The universe's whisper. Have you ever experienced a moment so uncanny that it felt as though the universe itself was speaking directly to you? Perhaps you think of someone and they call, or you see the same numbers over and over again, like a cosmic code hidden in plain sight. These moments, my dear listener, are not mere coincidences. They are synchronicities, sacred winks from the universe, subtle yet profound reminders that you are never alone. Consider this: the universe is a grand, intelligent tapestry woven with threads of energy, intention, and purpose. And when you find yourself in harmony with its divine rhythm, it begins to reflect back to you signs that you are on the right path. But what are these synchronicities? Why do they occur? And most importantly, how can we learn to recognize and embrace them? Synchronicities are the universe's way of catching your attention. They appear when your inner world aligns with the divine flow of creation. They may come as repeating numbers like 1111 or 333, as though the clock itself is pausing to remind you of your connection to something greater. Or perhaps you overhear a conversation that answers a question you've been silently asking in your heart. These are not random occurrences. They are divine messages urging you to pause, reflect, and tune in to the sacred guidance that surrounds you. Imagine walking through a forest. At first, the trees may seem silent, the path uncertain. But as you quiet your mind and open your senses, you begin to notice subtle signs: the rustling of leaves pointing toward a clearing, the distant sound of water guiding you to a stream. This is how synchronicities work. They are the breadcrumbs left by the divine to guide you home to yourself. Yet the question arises, how do we cultivate the awareness needed to notice these signs? It begins with stillness. In our fast-paced, noisy world, the whispers of the universe are often drowned out by the clamor of daily life. But when you create space for silence, when you meditate, journal, or simply sit in quiet reflection, you open the door for these messages to reach you. Pay attention to what repeats in your life. If a particular symbol, number, or phrase keeps appearing, it is no accident. It is a nudge, a reminder to align your thoughts and actions with your highest truth. But synchronicities do more than guide, they also reassure. They remind you that you are supported, that you are walking a path designed with care and intention. Even in moments of doubt, when the way forward feels unclear, these signs can reignite your faith. They are the universe's way of saying, keep going. I am with you. And so, I ask you, what synchronicities have appeared in your life recently? What patterns have emerged asking for your attention? Do not dismiss them. Lean into them. Trust that they are part of a divine dialogue, a conversation between your soul and the infinite. The more you honor these moments, the more frequently they will appear, and the more deeply you will feel the universe's hand in your life. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a storm. The wind howls, the rain lashes, and the world around you feels like it is falling apart. Yet at the center of this storm, there is a calm, a stillness untouched by the chaos. This is the essence of inner peace, and it is one of the clearest signs that you are aligned with the divine plan. Inner peace is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of unwavering trust. It is the knowing that no matter what storms rage around you, you are anchored in something greater. When you align your thoughts with the divine, this peace becomes your compass, guiding you through life's trials with grace and resilience. But how does one cultivate such peace? How does one find stillness when the world feels overwhelming? The answer lies in surrender. Surrender does not mean giving up, it means letting go of the need to control every outcome. It is an act of faith, a declaration that you trust the universe to hold you, even when the path ahead is unclear. Let me share a truth: chaos is inevitable. The waves of life will rise and fall, bringing moments of joy and sorrow, clarity and confusion. But amidst it all, you have a choice. You can resist the waves, fighting against their natural flow, or you can ride them trusting that they will carry you exactly where you need to be. Inner peace is the result of choosing the latter. When you align your thoughts with the divine plan, you begin to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth. You understand that every difficulty is a teacher, every setback a redirection towards something greater. And this understanding creates a profound sense of calm. You no longer react to life from a place of fear, but respond from a place of love and faith. Consider this: when a tree is rooted deeply in the earth, it can withstand even the fiercest storm. Similarly, when you root yourself in the divine, when you anchor your thoughts in trust, gratitude, and love, you become unshakable. The winds of doubt may blow, but they cannot uproot you. The rains of uncertainty may fall, but they cannot drown you. You remain centered, grounded in the truth that you are supported by a force far greater than yourself. Inner peace is not something you find, it is something you create. It begins with the thoughts you choose to entertain. Are your thoughts a source of turmoil, or do they bring you closer to stillness? Are they filled with fear, or do they reflect faith? Remember, the universe listens. It responds to the energy you emit. When you cultivate thoughts of peace, you invite peace into your life. And so, I urge you to take a moment each day to connect with this stillness. Meditate, pray, or simply breathe deeply and remind yourself that you are held. Allow this peace to wash over you, to fill every corner of your being. As you do, you will find that the chaos of the world no longer controls you. You will walk through life with a quiet confidence, a deep knowing that you are aligned with the divine plan, and that no storm can ever truly shake you. Have you ever been taken by surprise by an opportunity so perfectly timed that it seemed almost magical? Perhaps it was a chance meeting with someone influential, an unexpected job offer, or a sudden flash of inspiration that led you down an entirely new path. These moments, my friend, are not random. They are a testament to the universe's ability to align its divine timing with your readiness. The universe operates on a clock far more intricate and precise than the one we perceive. When you align your thoughts with its divine plan, you activate this timing in your life. Doors you never noticed before suddenly open, and pathways that once seemed blocked become clear. Yet the question remains, are you prepared to walk through those doors when they appear? Unexpected opportunities are often the universe's response to the energy you've been cultivating within. You may have been visualizing, affirming, and dreaming of change, but change doesn't always arrive in the way you expect. It may come disguised as a challenge, requiring you to step out of your comfort zone and embrace the unknown. But make no mistake, these moments are divinely orchestrated. Imagine for a moment a river carving its way through a landscape. The river doesn't force its flow, it follows the path of least resistance, trusting the natural design of the earth to guide it. Similarly, when you align yourself with the flow of the universe, opportunities come effortlessly. You no longer need to push or struggle to make things happen. Instead, you are carried by the current of divine timing. But recognizing these opportunities requires awareness. It demands a willingness to release control and trust the process. So often we get attached to a specific outcome or timeline, and when life doesn't unfold as we planned, we resist. Yet it is precisely in those moments of surrender that the most extraordinary opportunities arise. Let me ask you this. Have you ever looked back on a time when you were disappointed, only to realize later that what seemed like a setback was actually a setup for something far greater? This is the power of divine timing. The universe is always working behind the scenes, arranging circumstances and aligning people to support your journey. Your role is to stay open, curious, and adaptable. When an unexpected opportunity presents itself, lean into it. Instead of questioning its arrival, ask yourself, what is the universe trying to show me? Even if it feels intimidating or inconvenient, trust that it is part of the larger plan for your life. Remember, opportunities are not just about external success. They are also about personal growth and spiritual evolution. Every door that opens is an invitation to expand your awareness, to step into a higher version of yourself. And as you continue to align your thoughts with the divine, you'll find that these opportunities become more frequent, more meaningful, and more transformative. Have you ever felt a deep, unshakable yearning for something more? Perhaps it's a longing to leave a familiar job, pursue a creative passion, or embark on a journey that feels completely out of character. This inner pull is not mere restlessness, it is the voice of your soul urging you to align with your divine purpose. The pull toward a new path is one of the clearest signs that the universe is guiding you. It whispers to you in moments of stillness, tugs at your heart during the quiet hours, and refuses to be silenced. Yet for many, this pull is accompanied by fear. The mind begins to question, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if this isn't the right time? But let me tell you this, the pull you feel is not a mistake. It is a sacred nudge, a reminder that you are meant for something greater than what you've settled for. It is the universe's way of redirecting you toward your true path, even if that path feels uncertain or intimidating. Following this pull requires courage. It demands that you step into the unknown, trusting that the universe will provide everything you need along the way. And while the road may not always be easy, it will be worth it. Because when you honor the call of your soul, you align with the divine plan, and in doing so, you unlock a life of purpose, fulfillment, and joy. So how do you discern whether this pull is truly divine or simply a fleeting desire? The answer lies in the depth of its resonance. True divine guidance does not come from a place of fear or ego. It is quiet yet persistent, gentle yet powerful. It speaks to the core of who you are, reminding you of the dreams and desires you may have long buried. To follow this pull, you must first silence the noise of doubt and fear. Spend time in reflection, meditation, or prayer. Ask yourself, what is my heart yearning for? What lights my soul on fire? And most importantly, what would I do if I weren't afraid? The answers will come, not as loud declarations, but as subtle, undeniable truths. As you begin to act on this guidance, you will notice the universe rising to meet you. Synchronicities will appear, resources will align, and the right people will cross your path. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation that you are on the right track. Trust this pull. Follow it with faith and determination, knowing that it is leading you to the life you were meant to live. And as you walk this path, you will discover that the universe's plan for you is far greater than anything you could have imagined. Life is not without its storms. There are times when challenges arise so unexpectedly that they threaten to shake the very foundation of who we are. Yet within these moments lies a profound opportunity, the chance to cultivate emotional resilience. This resilience is not merely a shield against hardship, it is evidence of your alignment with the divine plan. Emotional resilience is the ability to stand firm in the face of adversity while remaining connected to your inner truth. It is not about avoiding pain or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it is about embracing your struggles with grace, knowing that they are part of a greater purpose. When you are aligned with the universe, you begin to see every challenge as a tool for growth and transformation rather than an insurmountable obstacle. But how does one develop this resilience? The first step is to shift your perspective. Ask yourself, what is this challenge teaching me? How is it helping me grow? Every difficulty you face has a hidden gift, even if it's not immediately apparent. When you choose to view your struggles as opportunities for growth, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of circumstance and instead become a co-creator of your reality. Imagine a tree standing tall in the middle of a storm. The winds may bend its branches, and the rain may weigh it down, but its roots remain deeply anchored in the earth. In the same way, emotional resilience requires grounding. This grounding comes from connecting with your inner self and the divine. Practices like meditation, prayer, and journaling help you establish this foundation. They remind you of your innate strength and your unbreakable connection to the universe. Another key to emotional resilience is self-compassion. Often we are our harshest critics, berating ourselves for feeling weak or for not having all the answers. But the truth is, vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a testament to your humanity. When you allow yourself to feel fully, whether it's sadness, anger, or fear, you create space for healing. You honor your emotions without letting them control you, And in doing so, you build the strength to move forward. As you cultivate resilience, you may notice a profound shift. The external circumstances of your life may not immediately change, but your ability to navigate them does. You become less reactive and more centered. You approach difficulties with a sense of calm, trusting that the universe is guiding you through them. Emotional resilience does not mean you will never falter. There will be moments when the weight of life feels overwhelming. But even in those moments, you can choose to rise. You can choose to reconnect with your inner power and the divine wisdom that flows through you. And as you do, you will find that each challenge strengthens you, preparing you for the next stage of your journey. Have you ever had a gut feeling so strong that it defied logic, yet it turned out to be right? That subtle inner knowing is your intuition, a sacred gift from the universe that connects you to divine wisdom. When your thoughts align with the divine plan, this intuition becomes sharper, more reliable, and more frequent, guiding you in ways you may not fully understand but can always trust. Intuition is the language of the soul. It doesn't speak through words or reason but through feelings, impressions, and subtle nudges. It's that quiet voice urging you to take a leap of faith, to trust someone new, or to walk away from something that no longer serves you. And when you listen to this voice, you step into harmony with the divine flow of life. One of the most profound aspects of intuition is its ability to lead you toward decisions that align with your highest good. Unlike the rational mind, which is often influenced by fear and doubt, intuition comes from a place of pure truth. It sees beyond the immediate and taps into the infinite wisdom of the universe. But how do you cultivate this connection? The first step is to trust it. So often we dismiss our intuitive feelings, doubting their validity or brushing them aside as mere coincidence. Yet the more you honor your intuition, the stronger it becomes. Treat it as you would a trusted friend. When it speaks, listen. When it guides, follow. Another way to strengthen your intuition is through mindfulness. In the busyness of daily life, it's easy to overlook the subtle whispers of the soul. But when you slow down and tune in, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply spending time in nature, you create space for your intuition to emerge. You begin to notice the subtle signs and feelings that were always there but perhaps ignored. Your intuition is also deeply connected to your emotions. Pay attention to how you feel in certain situations or around certain people. Does something feel light and expansive, or does it feel heavy and restrictive? These feelings are your inner compass, pointing you toward what aligns with your soul and away from what does not. As you deepen your connection to your intuition, you may start to experience a sense of effortless flow. Decisions that once felt difficult become clear. Opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly appear. You may even find yourself in the right place at the right time more often, as though the universe is conspiring in your favor. Intuition is not just a tool for navigating life's decisions, it is also a reminder of your divinity. It is proof that you are connected to something far greater than yourself, a divine intelligence that is always guiding, supporting, and loving you. And as you learn to trust this inner wisdom, you will find that it never leads you astray. The question is, will you listen? Will you honor the quiet nudges, the fleeting insights, and the persistent feelings that guide your path? When you do, you align not only with your soul, but with the infinite wisdom of the universe itself. Gratitude is one of the most transformative forces in the universe. It has the power to shift your perception, elevate your vibration, and draw into your life the very blessings you desire. But gratitude is more than a polite thank you or a fleeting moment of appreciation. It is a deep, soul-level acknowledgement of the divine flow in and around you. When you align your thoughts with the divine plan, this sense of gratitude intensifies, becoming a natural and constant state of being. Have you noticed that when you feel truly grateful, even for the simplest things, your heart feels lighter? Gratitude creates a space where fear, doubt, and lack cannot exist. It is as if every thank you whispered from your soul amplifies the energy of abundance in your life. This is no accident. Gratitude is a universal law, a sacred exchange between you and the divine. The more you appreciate, the more you attract to be appreciative of. When gratitude deepens, it transcends specific events or material blessings. You begin to see beauty in the mundane, a sunrise, a kind word, the feeling of a soft breeze on your face. Even challenges become opportunities to be grateful, for they are teachers helping you grow into the person you are meant to be. This shift in perspective allows you to live not in a state of wanting, but in a state of having. You recognize that in every moment the universe is conspiring for your good. But how do you cultivate a heightened sense of gratitude? Start by taking time each day to reflect on what you are thankful for. Write it down, speak it aloud, or meditate on it. Let your heart swell with appreciation, not just for the obvious blessings, but for the hidden ones as well. Think of the challenges you've overcome, the lessons you've learned, and the strength you gained along the way. Gratitude is also a practice of presence. It requires you to fully experience and savor the moment you are in. So often we rush through life, always seeking the next thing. But when you slow down and fully immerse yourself in the now, you begin to notice the countless blessings that surround you. Moreover, gratitude is a bridge between the seen and the unseen. When you express gratitude for what you desire as though it is already yours, you align with the energy of creation. This is not mere wishful thinking, it is an act of faith. By giving thanks in advance, you signal to the universe that you trust its timing and wisdom. Gratitude also strengthens your connection to others. When you express heartfelt appreciation to the people in your life, you create deeper bonds and open the door for even greater love and support. Gratitude is contagious. As you embody it, you inspire others to do the same. A heightened sense of gratitude transforms your entire being. It allows you to move through life with a sense of abundance and joy, no matter what circumstances arise. It shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from lack to fulfillment, from fear to love. And in this state of gratitude, you align with the divine plan, allowing the blessings of the universe to flow effortlessly into your life. Have you ever felt as though an invisible hand was steering you, gently nudging you toward the right place, the right people, or the right decision? This is the experience of divine guidance, a profound sense of being supported and directed by a force greater than yourself. When your thoughts align with the divine plan, this feeling becomes unmistakable. You no longer question whether you are on the right path, because you know deep within that you are. Divine guidance often appears in subtle ways. It may come as a sudden insight, an unshakable gut feeling, or even a dream that lingers in your mind long after you wake. It may also manifest through external signs, a song on the radio with lyrics that speak to your soul, a book that falls into your hands at just the right moment, or a stranger's words that feel like they were meant just for you. These are not coincidences, they are the universe's way of communicating with you. But to fully embrace this guidance, you must first trust it. And trust begins with surrender. Surrender is not about giving up. It is about letting go of the need to control every detail of your life. It is about acknowledging that while you may not always understand the bigger picture, the universe does. It is about releasing your fears and stepping into the flow of divine wisdom. When you trust this guidance, you start to see how perfectly everything unfolds. Even the detours and delays which once frustrated you reveal themselves as essential parts of your journey. You begin to notice how one event leads to another in a seamless chain of synchronicities, all designed to bring you closer to your highest good. Cultivating a sense of being guided also requires listening. In the noise of daily life, it's easy to overlook the whispers of the divine. But when you create space for silence through meditation, prayer, or quiet reflection, you open yourself to receive these messages. Pay attention to your inner voice, the one that speaks with calm certainty. It is through this voice that the universe often communicates its wisdom. Another key to trusting divine guidance is to act on it. When you feel a nudge to reach out to someone, take it. When an opportunity excites you but feels outside your comfort zone, embrace it. The more you act on this guidance, the stronger it becomes. You build a relationship with the divine, one rooted in mutual trust and collaboration. Remember, divine guidance does not always lead to the easiest path, but it always leads to the right one. It challenges you to grow, to step into your full potential, and to align with your purpose. And as you continue to follow this guidance, you will find yourself becoming more attuned to the divine flow. So, reflect for a moment. Where in your life do you feel the presence of guidance? What signs, feelings, or messages have been urging you forward? Trust them, honor them. Know that you are never alone, for the universe is always walking beside you, guiding your every step. When you align your thoughts with the divine plan, something extraordinary begins to happen within your relationships. The connections you form with others take on a new depth, rooted not in superficiality, but in authenticity and mutual growth. These relationships feel almost fated, as though the universe has orchestrated your meeting for a purpose far greater than either of you could have anticipated. In this state of alignment, you attract people who resonate with your energy, who mirror your highest intentions, and encourage you to grow. These individuals may come into your life as mentors, friends, partners, or even strangers whose words leave an indelible mark on your soul. They seem to arrive at just the right moment, bringing with them the lessons, support, or encouragement you need to take the next step on your journey. But these connections go beyond mere chance encounters. They are infused with a sense of divine timing and purpose. You may find that conversations flow effortlessly, as though you are speaking a shared language of the soul. There is no need for pretension or masks. You feel seen, understood, and accepted for who you truly are. This level of connection is one of the most profound signs of being in harmony with the divine plan. The key to nurturing these relationships lies in reciprocity. When you show up authentically, offering love, understanding, and support without expectation, you create a space for others to do the same. Relationships become less about what you can gain and more about how you can grow together. This mutual exchange of energy strengthens the bond and allows both parties to thrive. It's also important to recognize that not all connections will last forever. Some people come into your life for a season or a specific purpose, and when that purpose is fulfilled, the relationship may naturally fade. This is not a loss, but a reflection of the divine flow. Honor these transitions with gratitude, knowing that every person who enters your life plays a role in your spiritual evolution. On the other hand, you may notice certain relationships that no longer align with your new state of being. As you elevate your thoughts and energy, some connections may feel heavy, draining, or discordant. This is a natural part of growth. It's not about judgment or blame. It's about recognizing that your paths are diverging. Letting go of such relationships creates space for new, aligned connections to enter your life. In these divinely aligned relationships, you also serve as a reflection for others. Your light inspires their light, your growth encourages their growth, and your authenticity gives them permission to be authentic. Together, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your immediate circle, touching the lives of many. So take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Which ones feel deeply connected, aligned with your soul's purpose? Which ones challenge you in ways that foster growth? And which ones may need to be released with love and gratitude? By honoring these connections, you align even more deeply with the divine plan and the sacred flow of relationships in your life. When your thoughts align with the divine plan, you begin to cultivate an unshakable faith in the journey of life. This faith is not blind optimism. It is a profound inner knowing that every step you take, every challenge you face, and every moment you experience is intricately woven into the tapestry of your purpose. This trust becomes the foundation upon which you navigate life, allowing you to move forward with courage and grace, no matter the circumstances. Faith in the journey means releasing the need to know every detail of the path ahead. It's about trusting that the universe has a plan for you, even when the road is unclear or the destination seems distant. This trust is not always easy to cultivate. Doubts may arise, and fear may whisper that you are lost or unsupported. But when you align with the divine, these doubts lose their grip. You come to understand that even the moments of uncertainty are part of the greater design. One of the most beautiful aspects of faith is its ability to transform how you perceive obstacles. Instead of viewing them as barriers, you begin to see them as stepping stones, opportunities to learn, grow, and strengthen your connection to the divine. Challenges become not something to fear, but something to embrace, knowing that they are leading you toward a greater purpose. Faith in the journey also requires patience. The divine plan operates on its own timeline, one that often does not match our expectations. Yet this timing is always perfect. Trusting in it means releasing the urgency to force outcomes and instead allowing life to unfold naturally. When you surrender to this flow, you discover that everything arrives exactly when it is meant to, neither too early nor too late. This unshakable faith is cultivated through daily practices that anchor you in the present moment. Meditation, prayer, and gratitude rituals help you connect with the divine and remind you of the bigger picture. These practices quiet the mind's chatter and bring you back to the stillness where faith resides. Another key to building faith is reflection. Take time to look back on your life and notice how everything has led you to where you are now. The challenges that once seemed insurmountable, the detours that felt frustrating, all of them played a role in shaping you and guiding you toward your purpose. Recognizing this pattern strengthens your trust in the process and reassures you that the universe is always working in your favor. Faith in the journey is an act of love. It is a declaration that you believe in the goodness of life, the wisdom of the divine, and the strength within yourself. This faith becomes a beacon, illuminating your path even in the darkest moments. It reminds you that you are never alone, that every step you take is guided, and that your journey is sacred. So, as you walk your path, hold on to this faith. Trust that every experience is preparing you for the next chapter, every challenge is refining you, and every blessing is a reminder of the divine love that surrounds you. With this faith, you can face anything, knowing that the universe is always conspiring for your highest good.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I stand before you today not to preach, but to speak from the soul. Let's talk about something that resonates deep within all of us, the art of rebuilding oneself. Because life, oh life, it doesn't care who you are or where you come from. It doesn't care how many titles are in front of your name or how much you got in your pocket. Life is an equal opportunity challenge, and at some point it's going to knock you down. That's not a question of if, but when. But listen closely, it's not the fall that defines you, it's what happens next. You see, we all fall. We all have moments when the weight of the world feels unbearable, when dreams seem distant, when the person staring back in the mirror looks like a stranger. But let me tell you something, those moments, those dark, gritty moments, when you're at your lowest, those are your opportunities. That's where the seeds of greatness are planted. You've got to understand something right now. Rebuilding isn't about pretending everything's fine. No, it's about facing the storm head on, standing in the middle of that chaos and saying, I'm still here. It's about digging deep into the core of who you are and pulling out the strength you never knew you had. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a house under construction? It's messy. There's dust everywhere. Walls are being knocked down, debris scattered around. It doesn't look like much at first. But then brick by brick, beam by beam, something beautiful starts to emerge. That's you. That's your life. You've got to tear down those weak foundations, strip away the doubts, the fears and the excuses, and start building something stronger. And don't you dare rush it. Don't you dare skip the process. We live in a world that's all about shortcuts, quick fixes, instant gratification. But rebuilding yourself isn't about fast results. It's about the long game. It's about discipline. It's about sacrifice. It's about putting in the work every single day, even when no one is watching, even when no one is clapping for you. Because this journey, it's yours, it's personal. Now, here's where it gets real. Rebuilding yourself means facing pain. It means looking in the mirror and being brutally honest. It means acknowledging your mistakes, your flaws, and your weaknesses. And that's not easy. Oh no, it's not easy, it's hard, it hurts. But pain, my friends, is part of the process. Pain is your teacher. Pain is your fuel. When you're in that gym, pushing past the limits, what's driving you? Pain. When you're staying up late studying while others are sleeping, what's keeping you going? Pain. When you've lost someone, something, and you feel that emptiness gnawing at your heart, what keeps you fighting? Pain. But don't let that pain paralyze you. Let it propel you. You've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens in those moments when you feel like quitting but choose to press on. It happens in those sleepless nights, in the blood, sweat, and tears, in the grind that nobody sees but you. That's where champions are born. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Now let me tell you this, you're going to face resistance. Oh yes, resistance will come knocking. Friends, family, society, they might not understand your journey. They might doubt you. They might even discourage you. But listen to me loud and clear. Their doubts do not define your destiny. Their fears do not dictate your future. This is your life and you've got to own it. You see, rebuilding yourself is about choice. Every single day you've got a choice to make. Are you going to let circumstances define you, or are you going to define your circumstances? Are you going to stay down, or are you going to rise? Are you going to let fear win, or are you going to face it head on? People will say you've changed. Well, good. You're supposed to change. Change is growth. Change is evolution. If you're the same person today that you were a year ago, something's wrong. You're here to evolve, to transform, to rebuild. And here's a secret. Rebuilding yourself isn't a one-time thing. It's a constant process. Life will test you again and again. You'll face new challenges, new setbacks, new failures. But every time you'll rise stronger. Because once you've rebuilt yourself, you know the blueprint. You know the strength within. And no one can take that away from you. You've got to believe it before you see it. Faith isn't about seeing, it's about believing. When the world says, you can't, you've got to say, I will. When your mind whispers it's over, you've got to scream, it's just the beginning. When life knocks you down, and I promise you it will, you've got to get up with fire in your eyes and a roar in your heart. Let me tell you something else about rebuilding. It's not just about you. Oh no, it's bigger than that. When you decide to rebuild yourself, you become a light, a beacon, your strength, your resilience, your determination. They inspire others. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching you. They see your struggle. They see your hustle. And when they see you rise, it gives them hope that they can rise too. You don't rebuild just for you. You rebuild for those who came before you, who sacrificed so you could be here. You rebuild for those standing beside you who need to see that it's possible. And you rebuild for those who will come after you, who will walk the path you're paving right now. Now, let's talk about fear, because fear is the enemy of rebuilding. Fear will whisper lies in your ear. It'll tell you you're not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy. But fear is a liar. It only has power if you feed it. You've got to starve your fears and feed your faith. Every time fear shows up, you've got to confront it. Speak to it. Say, you don't control me. I control my destiny. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward despite the fear. It's feeling that fear in your gut, that tightness in your chest, and walking through it anyway. Every time you do, you weaken fear's grip. Every time you face it, you take back your power. And let me be clear, rebuilding isn't about perfection. Forget perfection. Perfection is an illusion, distraction. Rebuilding is about progress. It's about putting one foot in front of the other day after day, no matter how hard it gets. Some days you'll move mountains. Other days, just getting out of bed will be a victory. And that's okay. Celebrate every step. Progress is progress. Let's not ignore the power of vision. If you're going to rebuild yourself, you've got to see beyond your current situation. You've got to envision the person you want to become, the life you want to live. Close your eyes and picture it. See yourself stronger, wiser, happier. Hold on to that vision. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Manifest it with every fiber of your being. But a vision without action, that's just a dream. You've got to back it up with relentless action, discipline, dedication. You've got to show up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because that's where the magic happens. When you push through the resistance, you find strength you didn't know you had. And let's talk about failure. Because failure is part of rebuilding. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall flat on your face. But failure isn't final. It's a lesson, a stepping stone. Every great comeback is fueled by failure. So don't fear it. Embrace it. Learn from it. Grow from it. You've got to develop a relentless mindset. A mindset that says, no matter what comes my way, I will overcome. No matter how many times I fall, I will rise. That's the mindset of a builder. That's the mindset of a warrior. And you are a warrior. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. People who challenge you. People who see your potential even when you can't. But be careful, because not everyone in your circle is in your corner. You've got to be discerning. Choose your tribe wisely. Energy is contagious. Protect yours. And lastly, gratitude. Yes, gratitude, because even in the darkest moments, there is something to be grateful for. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It turns obstacles into opportunities. It turns pain into purpose. When you're rebuilding, don't just focus on what you've lost. Focus on what you're gaining. Focus on who you're becoming. You are not broken. You are in the process of becoming whole. Every challenge, every setback, every tear, it's shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you. So embrace the process, trust the process, and keep building, keep fighting, keep rising, because your story isn't over. It's just getting started. Let me tell you something about those scars you carry. You might try to hide them, cover them up, or act like they're not there, but I'm telling you, those scars are your power. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every scar is proof that you faced something meant to break you, and you came out the other side, stronger, wiser, more determined. You've got to stop seeing those scars as weaknesses. They're not. They're badges of honor. They show that you've lived, that you've fought, that you've endured. And the world needs to see them. Because there's someone out there right now who's going through what you've been through, and they need to know it's possible to make it out. They need to see your light shining through those cracks to realize they can shine too. Now, rebuilding yourself isn't just about physical strength or mental toughness. It's about heart. It's about spirit. It's about that fire burning inside you that refuses to be extinguished. People can take a lot from you, your job, your money, even your relationships, but they can't take your spirit unless you let them. Protect that spirit, nurture it, feed it with positivity, with faith, with purpose. Purpose. Let's talk about that for a second. Because when you're rebuilding, you've got to know why. Why are you doing this? Why are you fighting? Why are you refusing to quit? Your purpose is your anchor. When the storms come, and trust me, that purpose will keep you grounded. It'll remind you of what you're fighting for, who you're fighting for, and why giving up is not an option. And let's be real. Some days that purpose is going to feel far away. There will be days when you question everything, when you wonder if it's worth it, if you're strong enough, if you can keep going. Those days are crucial. Those are the days when you have to dig deep and remember that rebuilding isn't about perfection or even consistency all the time. It's about resilience. It's about bouncing back after every fall. It's about being knocked down 10 times and getting up 11. And when you rise with humility, because let's not forget, rebuilding yourself is not a solo mission. You're going to need help along the way. And that's okay. There's strength in asking for help and leaning on others when the load gets too heavy. We weren't meant to walk this path alone. So when someone reaches out to lend a hand, don't let pride get in the way. Take that hand, stand tall, and keep moving forward. But also know this, you're going to outgrow some people along the way. Not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone will understand your vision, your drive, your hunger. And that's okay. Let them go with love. Wish them well. But don't you dare slow down. Don't you dare shrink yourself to fit into spaces you've outgrown. Keep moving forward. Keep growing. Keep evolving. And as you rebuild, remember to give back. When you reach that next level, turn around and lift someone else up. Share what you've learned. Mentor someone who's just starting their journey. Be a guide, a light, a source of inspiration. Because true success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about what you inspire others to achieve. It's about the legacy you leave behind. Legacy. That's a powerful word, isn't it? Because rebuilding yourself isn't just about the present, it's about the future. It's about leaving a mark. So ask yourself, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered? As someone who gave up when things got tough, or as someone who stood tall, fought back, and rebuilt something remarkable from the ashes? You have the power to shape that legacy. Right now, with every decision you make, every challenge you face, every victory you claim, big or small, you're writing your legacy. So make it a story worth telling. Make it a story that inspires generations to come. You've got this. The road ahead might be long. It might be hard. But you've got the strength, the courage, the resilience to walk it. One step at a time. One day at a time. Keep rebuilding. Keep rising. Keep shining. And never forget, the best is yet to come. So now here we are. You've heard the call. You felt the fire. The question isn't whether life will challenge you again. It will. The question is, what will you do when it does? Will you stay down, or will you rise and rebuild? Because life doesn't pause for anyone. It will test you. It will break you. And sometimes it'll feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. But in those moments, you'll have a choice. You can give in to the pressure, or you can stand tall and push back. You can let life's trials define you, or you can use them to refine you. And that's the power you hold, the power to rebuild yourself, no matter how many times you've fallen. This isn't just about bouncing back. It's about coming back stronger. It's about transforming every setback into a comeback, every loss and every sin, and every failure into fuel. You're not the person you were yesterday, and you won't be the person you are today by tomorrow. You're constantly evolving, constantly growing, constantly becoming. And that's the beauty of the journey. There's no finish line, only the next chapter waiting to be written. Rebuilding yourself is a process of courage, grit, and relentless faith. It's about stepping into the unknown with nothing but your belief in who you are and who you're destined to become. It's about silencing the doubts, drowning out the noise, and listening to that quiet, unshakable voice within the voice that says, keep going. And yes, there will be pain. There will be days when you question your strength, your purpose, and your path. But remember this, every great story has moments of struggle. Every hero faces adversity, and every champion rises from defeat.